All right, everyone. Welcome to another Two Stupid Gamers showcase. I'm Mash the Stampede,
I'm Zero the Hero.
and today we have a very special showcase. This is going to be, it's actually interesting. We're basically doing a showcase of a demo, but this is the first time we get to play and feature footage from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 on this channel.
That's right, guys. So, for those who live under a rock, this is a arcade skateboarding game. It helped popularize skating. It helped take extreme sports into the living room in more ways than one. And Tony Hawk was the guy to help make that a possibility.
Absolutely. And before we get into some of this, I just wanted to first point out a couple of things. Obviously, Tony Hawk is known for the soundtrack, and while we do want to definitely play some awesome tunes, unfortunately, we're going to have to turn that down because that's not how it works here on YouTube. So, yeah, there's a couple of cool settings you may want to turn just for the classic feel of the Tony Hawk series. What I like about these is they let you change the playlist. Because this is the demo version of it, we only have a couple of songs that are from the original series. They also gave us a lot of these original tracks as well to put into it. I'm assuming that they're royalty free because there's a streamer mode option as well. But yeah, you get to pick and choose your playlist. So I usually do it basically just the songs that were in the original games. I also like to turn these features off because they were not in the original games as well. So when your special meter when you use a special trick, it like pauses the music, and when you bail, it kind of like muffles the music. I wasn't a big fan of that, but thankfully they just let you turn it off. Now to the actual Foundry demo itself, which again, kind of sucks that you had to pay the pre-order to get this. I feel like they could have just made the demo available to everyone, but you get two levels. You get the Foundry, which is of course from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, and you get
The College, which is from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
That's right. And I'm glad that you jumped in there because honestly, when I first played this before we started recording, I did not know what the college was. I actually never really played much Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. So I'm going to go with the Foundry. We only have 3 playable skaters. I'm not sure who this Brazilian skater is. Obviously, you get Tony Hawk. And if you pre-order the special edition, well, lucky you. You get the Doomslayer. But we're going to stick with our boy Tony Hawk.
So just like you said, you didn't play a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. I myself did not play a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. And even though it was sort of available to me, this was during my time living in New Jersey. My brother and I owned 4. My nephew, who lived downstairs from us, he owned 3.
I see.
So we would go back and forth playing each other's game, but I played mostly 4.
Right. Yeah, I had a friend who had a I believe it was a PlayStation 1 with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. I might be misremembering that, but yeah, I really didn't get a lot of experience with the PS1. I didn't get to play it much, so I have so little experience with 4 that when they announced that they weren't going to be doing the full career mode from 4, while that disappointed a lot of the people that are looking forward to it, I couldn't really comment because I didn't play much of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
I got to get you on that one of these days, but I absolutely did comment on it. For those of you who are either on our Discord or follow us on Instagram, you would have probably seen me
Tears.
on our you probably would have seen me posting going, why? Come on, it's not really a remake. And I'm still of that opinion, but I still love Tony Hawk to the point where I may still end up getting this game for myself at some point. I just got other games to focus on right now.
It basically, for you, it got bumped down on the priority list, and I totally get that. Yeah. And for context, up until Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, 1, 2, and 3 were very goals-driven. You had levels that you played, and as you're playing the level, which in the Foundry demo we don't have them, but there are these little objectives: get all the letters, get high scores, get the secret tape. You had all that kind of stuff. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 really revolutionized it because it started to turn away from that a little bit and kind of ushered in the modern era of the Tony Hawk franchise. So there you had a full-fledged career mode, and you know what? I honestly feel bad for everyone that was looking forward to it. I'm kind of not surprised, but I wasn't, you know, I definitely was hoping to hear that they were putting in the career mode for all of you guys, you know?
So here's the frustrating thing. I get it from a development standpoint, but I'm also frustrated because, like, this is classic Activision putting their thumb on the scale, essentially forcing developers to get things done in a certain timeline.
Which it would not have been possible to do the full career mode if you're going to crunch your developer, basically.
Exactly, and I'm very developer forward and friendly. I mean, we both are, let's be honest. And the last thing I want is these guys working 80-hour work weeks just so we can get the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 career mode experience.
Yeah.
Just for our, you know, just for our pleasure, not for every single person who plays Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, but like just for the 4 players, which, yeah, I get it. I was also going to say, to piggyback off what you were saying, you know, that 4 kind of bridged the gap of Tony Hawk going into the modern era. For those who really like Tony Hawk Underground, and MASH, I believe you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, the way Underground worked was similar to how Pro Skater 4 worked. The major difference was the maps were a little bit more limited. They weren't really interconnected in 4. And you weren't able to really get off your board in 4. Other than that, it pretty much worked like Underground, where you had these goals. It was still goal-oriented, but you had these goals all around the map. You just go to it, talk to the person, you get to do the goal. And it sometimes... well, actually, in 4, there wasn't really a story to go through. But, yeah, you talk to the person, you get the goal, and the goal itself would have a timer.
Yep. It was very trendy at that time for games to be kind of trying to do a little bit more of like an open world exploration thing. Funny enough, a game series that also made that change with their next installment that had a subtitle Underground was the Need for Speed series, because Need for Speed 1 was not Need for Speed Underground was not like more open world. You could just go from like level to level. Need for Speed Underground 2, you could drive your car around wherever, and yeah, it really kind of felt like that was becoming the thing. Was here's a more open map, go around, explore objectives. Sandboxes were like huge in the early 2000s.
Absolutely. That all started with like Super Mario 64. Like the second everyone saw how to do open world, everyone wanted to emulate it.
Yeah.
So it was only natural for developers to be like, how do we make Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, 3 but open world? And it made sense at the time.
Yeah. But while we got this level for a second, which is not open world, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was the last one of the old style, the more going down a list, doing objectives kind of style of Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. Just to talk about this, honestly, this was like the least interesting of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 levels. I don't remember much about this because most of the time I was playing some of the other cool levels they had and stuff. But I remember it being way darker. So I could say for a fact that in this remake, we're getting a super up-resed version of all of these levels. And the Foundry is literally almost night and day, because again, I remember playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 on a CRT TV, and this level was like it was basically like in a cave. It was so dark, hard to see what was going on. But yeah, and again, to me, the real beauty of like the classic Tony Hawk games is that they were all similar in so many ways. They all started with this sort of industrial level. Each of them had a warehouse or like a place like this. In Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, it was the Foundry. So I'm just happy to be back playing one of my favorite games. But while I'm done playing, I'm going to throw it over to Zero, who's going to show us the college level.
Excellent. Okay, I'm in control. Let's go to college, which is actually where Mash and I met.
Funny enough, yeah, you're right.
Quite literally. Man, this brings back so many memories. So, oh my god, this looks great. Oh my
It really
god.
does. I mean, I can only say so much, but it really does.
Yeah, so we're playing this through share play, so there's gonna be a little bit of lag for me, unfortunately. But even with the like the internet messing up the what's it called, the visuals and giving me a little bit of lag with the controls, I can tell that this just has so much amazing, fantastic detail. It's driving me up the wall. It kind of makes me want to get the game now, but I'm gonna hold off on it. Again, priorities.
So tell me how. So tell us how similar is this level to what you remember from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4?
It's practically the same. Yep. This I was about to say. This is supposed to go downward, and it's still there. The thing about college. Oh, I'm so used to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 that I didn't even pay attention to any of the goals because, like I said, this is more open world. As you can see, college is freaking massive.
Yeah.
And there's still areas I have not shown you guys because one second, there we go.
I love the floaties.
Yeah, though the floater, the what's it called? The parade float. That's for one of the missions you would do separately. Again, it wasn't always going around. You'd have to activate the mission and then it would happen. Which, you know, to some it would be, oh, why do you have to do that? But for me, it's like, that's how 4 worked. And even over here, there was someone you can speak to where you can play tennis with your skateboard. And it was just so stupid fun, and it's something I'm gonna miss.
Yeah.
And again, just like what happened here, that 2-minute timer wasn't a thing. I was just able to free skate all around during career mode and pick and choose what I wanted to do at the time, which for me is more leisurely. But for others, it's like, no, I just want what I was playing before, just new levels.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, you will definitely be able to free skate when this game comes out in full form. There is always a free skate version in the classic Tony Hawk games, so if you wanted that, you can definitely do it. It won't have the goals, though, but you would be able to do that. What I like, actually, and we didn't get to talk about this because we either did or we didn't. I feel like we never featured it, but like us playing it. But Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 had a really cool mode that I like, where instead of just having the goals and you play them and try to do as many of the goals as you can in 2 minutes, they have a speedrun mode where the point is to try to finish every single goal to see how fast you can do it. And I gotta say, that became my preferred way to play the classic Tony Hawk games. The 2-minute clock gets really annoying after a while, and sometimes you just want to like have the best of both worlds. Freedom, but also constricted by these goals.
100%. And the thing is, oh, there we go. That's another thing I should have mentioned. It's probably in 3 as well. Yeah, having that freedom, that choice to be able to skate around and do goals as you please is what I like the most about 4. Honestly, because like right now I have 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
I have 40 seconds to complete whatever goals are possible, and that's fine. If that was an option, that would have been a-okay. I would have never complained about it. As a matter of fact, I was hoping that would be a thing, so that people who were used to 1, 2, and 3, they can just jump into 4, play these amazing levels, and have that option.
Yeah.
But for players like me that want that leisurely gameplay, that want to explore and create their own lines without having to worry about some damn timer telling them, oh, well, your run's done. Like, that's the frustrating part for me, honestly.
And you know what's also interesting, too, is that because these levels weren't done in the old style, they had objectives that were only really possible in that more free roam, open world aspect. They're probably going to have to invent a couple of goals that weren't in the original game, you know? Like, you could definitely do a 1-to-1 conversion of Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3 into this remake, because the goals could be the same very easily. But here, you can't have some of the goals that you had because it's not exactly as the same as Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was.
Exactly, and that's the frustration. What the fuck? That's the frustration I have.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to say it's aggravating. It's disappointing. Again, as a gamer. But I still would rather have, this, what I call Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 with extra levels. I would rather have this than not have anything at all.
Oh yeah. I was waiting for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 to get announced for a remake so bad.
Oh no, seriously, dude. Like we also made a video, essentially reviewing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yes.
The both of us love that game. It's so stupidly good. The graphics fantastic. The music choice. Some of the new songs, not a big fan, but the returning old songs and some of the new songs, fantastic mix. New age skaters, old age skaters, love it. Like, 2020 was an amazing year for Activision games. A new Crash Bandicoot game and Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Yep.
Like, it was fantastic, and it just kind of seems like now Activision is just, I don't know, either resting on their laurels, not necessarily resting on the laurels, but like not pushing it as much as I wish they were. Because I'm telling you right now, I'd be gushing over this game if I had at least the option to, like, even if the goals were limited to like 5 or 7, if I still had the option of doing the goals leisurely, I would not be as upset. Honestly, even because that's another thing about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. There was a crap ton of goals. To my recollection, like each level would have upwards of 10, 12, 15 maybe goals each level. And to you, Mash, that probably sounds insane because goals are limited to like 7, right?
It's something. I think it's closer maybe to like 9 or 10, but yeah.
So again, like having all those goals, and then let's not forget, once you complete a level or the game, as a matter of fact, you actually have pro goals created, specifically for the pro skaters that you would find around the map, because those would be some of the people that gave you goals. You would speak to Tony Hawk, you would speak to Bam, you would speak to Elisa Steamer, you would speak to Bob Burnquist. Like, you would speak to all these skaters, and it was all voice acted as well, by the way, and they would give you goals. And it wasn't just them, it was also random NPCs and this amazing photographer. I'm forgetting his name.
Was it Tiva Jefferson?
I believe so. And they would all be around the map. They'd be waiting there for you to speak to them. They give you goals, and it'd be, oh wow, the Taco Bell.
Wait,
thing.
What?
Did you not hear it?
I heard it. I didn't realize I was watching a commercial.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's Taco Bell, as a matter of fact. I guess they're a big sponsor.
Nice. Wait, hold on. Was it like that in the original?
Not at all.
Okay.
I do not remember hearing or seeing Taco Bell at all.
Wow. Well, Activision had to make their money somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you remember what platforms Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was available for?
So you mentioned PS1, and to some viewers that sounds insane, but no, yes. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 through 4 were all available on PS1. It was simultaneously developed and essentially downgraded to fit on that amazing little console that could. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I've seen gameplay of it. I've played the 3 and 4 on the PS1, and I gotta say it's not worth it. Mash, you had 3 on the N64, right?
So yeah, that's actually kind of what I was gonna bring up, because I had a much in the same way. I had a similar experience with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, because 3 was available at the time. I only had Nintendo consoles, but the thing with 3 was that it was available both on Nintendo 64 and GameCube. So I got it for the 64 first, and it was like, whoa, this game is so great. But I think it was something like, I don't know, it felt like some of the music wasn't there, or something. It definitely felt like it was limited in some ways that I didn't experience in a Tony Hawk game before. And then I got the GameCube version, and it was like, it just
day.
like popped open. It was such a huge step up that I could never go back to the N64 version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. But yeah, I had both the 64 and the GameCube version.
Yeah, no, I only ever played Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Well, I mainly played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 on PS2. That was the console I had. I was always a Sony kid, thanks to my father. He loved Sony products back in the 90s. And yeah, man, when I tried 3 and 4 on the PS1, I was like, it's great for those who, didn't have the money to upgrade, but like, I'm not going back to this.
Right.
I kind of can't do that.
What was really cool about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series is since day one they featured real actual skaters, and I mean, let's be completely honest, they probably made, just like Tony Hawk was a household name, they probably helped some of these skaters become a household name too.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone knows Tony Hawk. But again, like you mentioned these other skaters, Bob Burnquist, Bam Margera, freaking Lisa Steamer, Kareem Campbell. I didn't know them before Tony Hawk. Now when people mention their names, I'm like, I know who they're talking about.
Of course.
I know who that legendary skater is.
And and I'm sure maybe some people are kind of like, oh, well, but they didn't launch all their careers to the level of Tony Hawk. Maybe, but it definitely, like, you could definitely argue that Bam Margera was probably, like, absolutely projected by this series and his inclusion of it. Now, granted, he was doing lots of stuff before. He probably was going to become big anyway, but putting Bam Margera into Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 definitely put him in front of a lot of edgy teenagers that were like, oh my god, I just found my idol. So I think that definitely helped.
It only helped that he stayed with the Tony Hawk series into Underground as well, and his MTV show,
Viva La Bam.
Yeah, Viva La Bam. It only helped, honestly.
And real quick before we get into facts too, let's not forget the fact that the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games have some of the best soundtracks in video games, and they have definitely colored and influenced so many of our musical tastes just because of the crazy variety of music that exists in this wonderful franchise.
100% fact, Mash. You are 100% correct. Growing up, being in a Hispanic family, Dominican specifically, all my family ever wanted to listen to was merengue and bachata. Maybe a little bit,
which I like, by the way.
It's not. I don't hate it, but growing up only with that, you kind of get tired of it. Thankfully, I had older cousins that were into popular music at the time throughout the mid to late 90s. So I was able to experience some other music, but it wasn't until Tony Hawk and like some other games and movies that I was able to get a taste for my own music.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Tony Hawk, it did color my musical taste palette. I'm a huge fan of rock, alternative rock and stuff like that. But man, Tony Hawk introduced me to ska, and I have never gone back. I'm a huge ska fan, and as a matter of fact, the Digimon movie from the year 2000 got me into ska as well, unknowingly. I didn't know that kind of music was ska. I only heard clips of it in the movie, and it wasn't until Tony Hawk 4 that I was able to find out the name of one of those songs, because I also never owned the soundtrack of the movie. All My Best Friends Were Metalheads by Less Than Jake. Once I found that song in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, I was like, this is the song. This is the sound I've been looking for. This is the sound my soul yearns for, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because as I get older, I start realizing, oh, wait a minute. Merengue and bachata, they have like horns. They have trumpet. They have a little bit of saxophone in there. And what does ska have? The same fucking instruments. And I'm just like, oh, sometimes the organ is introduced into ska. And in merengue and bachata, they also have piano. And I'm like, oh, am I just a weird mix of just some Dominican kid that was like, that got introduced to American music? Like, is that what I am? Oh, I couldn't keep it going.
Oh.
So again, another major influence for the both of us with Tony Hawk. And I also wanted to get into this while I was playing the last level, but also gameplay wise, like initially Tony Hawk 1, just your regular arcade skater, you know, whatever. Tony Hawk 2 introduced a couple new mechanics, wall rides, wall plants, and stuff like that. Actually, I think wall rides were in 1 as well, weren't they? But wall plants were definitely introduced in 2. Also, this thing about falling from high distances, like you wouldn't be able to survive that, so they introduced that as well, I believe. And then 3 introduced, I believe it's inverts, where essentially you get a spine transfer, actually. So essentially, that. Oh.
Yep.
So that was introduced in 3 and 4. And honestly, it helped create more interesting ways of creating like long combo lines and stuff like that, because like before, all you were able to do is just get out of a ramp. But now you're able to get to the other side of the ramp, keep grinding, keep going, keep the combo going.
Yeah, and what's cool is that in the remakes, they like basically let you do this with all of the games. I don't know if there's a way to turn it off in case you wanted to like.
In 1 and 2 there is.
Okay.
In 1 and 2 there is. 100%.
Right, so they may do something similar for 3 and 4, but yeah, like things that were introduced, you can play them with the classic games, which is nice too.
Ah, damn. All right. I even mentioned it in the review in 1 and 2. Like, if you want to play like true to form, they gave you the option to do that. Again, Neversoft back in the day really wanted to find ways to keep people interested, to keep people thinking like, oh wow, it's not exactly the same game. There are new mechanics, there are new skaters, there are new tricks, there are new maps, new ways to play. It's something that's kind of lacking in modern gaming these days, in my opinion.
So yeah, once again, this is just a quick showcase on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Foundry. Yes, this is basically just a demo. Yes, you did have to pre-order it to get this demo. But we wanted to feature this game. This is kind of the only way we saw that we could do it. We were actually kind of concerned to do the same thing with Shinobi, but because of something huge that's happening for us in August, that's not going to happen either. But yeah, we just wanted to put Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, the upcoming remake, out on our channel, get a little bit of our thoughts before we all get into this game. Maybe we'll see some more footage from this on the channel. Maybe we'll do some videos on this later. We don't know. But for now, this game is coming out July 11th, so definitely put that on your calendars. It's one of my most anticipated games for July because I just cannot wait to be back playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. And I also wanted to real quick mention as well, because like we said at the top, since we do this on YouTube, we can't really use all the fun music like the Motorheads and the CKY and you know, all that kind of stuff. So we just turned the music off and we're going to put our own music in, which for the longest time we've been using Overclocked Remix. We love Overclocked Remix. They've definitely assisted our channels since day one, really. And I'm going to try to put in, I guess, like the most Tony Hawk-esque remixes I can find, because there's some good ones on there. But definitely go check out Overclocked Remix. Definitely go give them a follow and check out the music, which we'll link in the description below. And yeah, like I said, this is a regular showcase of ours. Maybe we'll see some more content from this, maybe not. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We definitely want to make sure that you know that we do showcases all the time. So if there's anything else you want to see us do, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to try to feature your showcase as long as we can get around to it.
Indeed. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your experiences in the comment section below about Tony Hawk. What awesome experiences have you had? Which games did you play? What consoles did you play it on? Did you play the N64 or PS1 versions? Let us know. What'd you think?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, make sure, as always, like, comment, subscribe on this video. We'll see you next time.
Take care.